Here's the Appalachian Trail Museum at Pine Grove Furnace. Stayed at the Mansion Hostel last night, which is right next to the general store. And the general store is where most people have their ice cream challenge, the half-gallon challenge, so to speak, to celebrate being past the halfway point. But unfortunately, they're not open until 11 o'clock. And I'm not going to wait around until 11 o'clock to start hiking. So, what can you do? You would think that they would stay open a little later, but it's not quite the season yet. So, I guess it makes sense. You know, it's ice cream too. And it's 50 degrees outside. So, not everybody's as nuts as me and still would eat half a gallon of ice cream in cold weather. But I continue on. There's another store that's off of a little side road in about 8 miles. So I'm going to go check that out. And guess what? If they have ice cream, I'm going to do my challenge there. I'm not a traditional person. And I don't have to follow traditions. And I don't normally like to follow traditions. But I like ice cream. I like calories. So I am definitely going to do that if I can. And eat my half gallon of ice cream to celebrate and commemorate being halfway through the Appalachian Trail. Oh, by the way, good morning. It must be morning because I'm hiking. And I must be hiking because it's the morning. Could you imagine if the day started with the afternoon and then went to morning? That would be all kinds of weird. Just random thoughts that come into my head. But anyway, I'm on the trail. In a chilly Pennsylvania, a little drizzle coming down. I'm hoping it's not too wet today because I have 2 pairs of socks that are soaked and still didn't dry, or were soaked and didn't completely dry out. So thank goodness I have a 3rd pair, but they're not the best socks. They're a little cushiony, but they're not really made for hiking. So they kind of slide around and they just don't hug the foot as good as they should in certain spots to give you the support, like in the arches and such. So, but that's what I'm wearing now because they're dry. And that's the most important thing, is keeping your feet as dry as possible so you don't have those blisters and wrinkled up feet. And let's just say foot health is very important. And, you know, when you're on the rocks and getting jabbed and poked and prodded and everything else, it definitely could cause a lot of problems. You don't want to add blisters and infections and everything else to that for sure. I had a foot infection last year in Lake Tahoe on the PCT. It wasn't fun at all. Had to stay in the campground there for about a week and let it heal up before, because I had walked around for like a week with this thing and it just kept opening it up and making it bleed and the hole getting deeper, and it was in pretty bad shape when I went there. Thank goodness I never had to have like a surgery or, you know, anything like that. I was able to take care of it with the antibiotic creams and just keeping off of it for a little while. So anyway, don't want that happening again because that was not fun. Well, that river there, or creek, is flowing pretty good. Definitely a little flooded, it looks like. So hopefully I won't have to go through too much of that today, because yesterday a lot of that water running right down the trail got me soaked, and hopefully I can avoid that today, but I kind of doubt it. It's supposed to be off and on rain today, so gonna get a little wet, I'm sure. But I gotta get to this store right now, and you're about 7-8 miles, and get some grub, get a little bit of resupply, and hopefully get some ice cream. It's going to be a great and glorious day on the Appalachian Trail. This is the Pine Grove Furnace State Park. Really pretty right here with those trees overlooking some picnic tables. You have the rushing creek over here. Nice, pretty pink, purple kind of flower trees. Oh, I sound like such a smart botanist, don't I? Purpley pink flower trees. Wow. Don't mean to get all technical on y'all there. But it is beautiful. I do know that. I don't have to be a very smart man to know that. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's going to be one of those days where I'm in a goofy mood, I think. Let's go get some calories in this guy. Dude wanted to say good morning too. Good morning. Pretty little pond right here. Nice and glassy looking with that reflection. You can see the sprinkles on the water. Looks like maybe rent some canoes or boats over here. Seen this. I wouldn't mind doing this right now, but I haven't really fished for a while, but I'd love to do some, not the no pets on beach. This up here, stock trout waters. That'd be kind of cool. Go trout fishing right now. But some pretty views there to start off the day. This trail is wide enough where 4 or 5 of us could walk side by side by side by side. They got some wide trails sometimes on the trail, especially up here in Pennsylvania, I've noticed, but they always, trying to look back at it, hindsight, I think it's always in state parks when they're wide like this, so that's probably why, to make it a little more cruisy and enjoyable for people just coming out for, the day to have picnics or enjoy the little pond or stay in a cabin and, walk on a trail that's, not strenuous or anything, so. Still pretty, but you don't have to walk in a straight line, that's for sure, when it's wide like this. Sometimes on a small trail, you have to walk in a straight line and you're going to end up in the rocks or in the water or off the edge. So it's always good to stay in a straight line. But you don't have to do that on this trail, that's for sure. Very pretty, though. Look at this beautiful view. Wow. I didn't know there were so many pines, or again, I'm not sure what kind these are, but they had the needles, so I'm always going to say pine as my first guess. Could be spruce, evergreen, who knows? Well, obviously a lot of people know, but I don't know. But it's really cool with this opening here. And those little trees, and then you got these big needly type of trees, and that's where I'm going, right up there. Starts climbing up that, so the dark forest again, but I just love this view so much. It's beautiful. So just a little update on me. I know some of you are wondering, with the zeros I took here a few days back after coming right up to the Pennsylvania line, and I was really suffering. It ended up being, flare-ups from the digestive issues I have, which could get pretty severe at times. Some people think that, that means like bowel movements and everything, but it's so much more than any of that. It's, it just depletes my body, completely exhausted, tired, upset stomach, the bowel situation. But it really affects my legs too. It's hard to explain, but I get this really bad achiness to my legs. But that's it. It's like in my legs, and it's like a flu ache that happens. Not like a ache like you're using your muscles or anything. So I guess it's like the joint or something. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of, when you're a kid and you have growing pains. Kind of like that feeling. I took the 3 zeros. Which made me feel better, but I knew I wasn't 100%. I knew I wasn't even really close, probably 70 or 80% yesterday. And went, I don't know, it was about 25 miles or so. Felt good doing it until I laid down last night. It's like, geez, my legs hurt so bad. And it's one of my telltale signs, that I'm in a flare-up. even before I might get the other symptoms and such, is my legs will start getting real achy. Like I'm getting a flu or something, but I know it's not a flu because it's only in my legs. It's nowhere else. And so anyway, that's what I've been dealing with. And last night it was pretty bad. So I went to bed really early. But, this morning, I got to admit, I feel a lot better than I have been the last few days. So I'm getting closer to that 100% mark. So that's a good thing. It is one of the longest flare-ups I've ever had. Normally it's a day or two and I'm better, with the severe cramps and, the pain and just the tiredness and everything. But a lot better now. And yeah, there's probably medicines and such you could take because it's like an autoimmune type of thing, they think. But don't even know which one it is, to be honest. Because, it has to be caught during a flare-up, basically, to diagnose. But it's probably the same medicine regardless. But I don't do things that way. I do things as naturally as I can. Doesn't mean I don't believe in medicine. I obviously take the one-a-day medicine for my GERD situation. Until I can't anymore, until I need to do, the surgery or whatnot, because it's already kind of destroying the tissue of my esophagus. It's over the years, it's been so bad. But the GERD helps for now, helps me be able to eat and everything. And until that is not working or causing other issues, then I'm going to do that. So I will do medicine if I feel like that's the best choice. But I will always do as much as I can naturally to beat things. That's why I am where I am right now. That's why I'm alive today, because I do things naturally. I've had some really bad diagnoses in the last few years, and I fought through all of them naturally. Doesn't mean that the doctors don't have wisdom and knowledge and everything else to give us things to help. But in my opinion, I think we're a country that overuses medication and tries to take care of the symptoms more than we do the problem. And so I try to do everything as I can naturally. Anyway, going down a rabbit hole here. Definitely feeling better today, closer to 100%. I mean, there's aches and pains and problems every single day. For example, today my shoulder hurts. I probably slept on it wrong, got all twisted and knotted up, and so the backpack feels like it's pulling on it. It's going to be one of those days I have to adjust 53 times, adjust my backpack. But you'll have that. There's always a pain. There's always an ache. There's always something going on. And I go through all of it. Not to sound like I'm tooting my horn, because I know I've said it before, but I walked the PCT last year with a fractured spine. When I was diagnosed with osteoporosis. And if I could do that, the way I look at it, I could go through anything. So I do. I push through everything. When I get dizzy or having a flare-up, though, that's one time I will sit out until I'm better. Because that could get kind of dangerous. I don't want to pass out or something, or especially if I'm on cliffs or ridge lines. But anyway, I just wanted to give you all an update, let you all know I'm doing good. I'm almost back to 100% now. Just the normal aches and pains that come with the territory of hiking 20 plus miles a day. Besides that, the only thing that even remotely is a problem, and it's the biggest problem. It's the biggest challenge I have every single day, every single hour, and that is just being homesick for my baby. Love of my life, my future bride. I miss her so much, and it's definitely the hardest thing I have to deal with out here because, I'm all about living life. Well, she is my life. She is the destiny I've waited 47 years for, so that makes it really stinking tough to be away from her. And that's the hardest challenge I have out here, day after day. It wrenches my heart knowing that I'm not with her right now, and I have two different versions of me on my shoulders every day that argues about that. Just go home. Just go home and be with your woman. And then the other one's like, you can be with your woman, but finish this first. Like they go back and forth, and they both have good arguments all day long. And I just sit here and I listen to them. Okay, it doesn't really work that way, but it's kind of that way because I just literally in my head all day long. I'm justified either way I do it. I don't live by anybody's rules. I live by my own rules. And I don't even make rules. I just live life. I won't even put rules upon myself. But anyway, I miss her a lot, and it's the hardest thing I deal with out here every single day. And I can't wait to be with her again. Can't wait for her to be my bride this year. Woohoo! A lot of conquering going on this year. That sounds bad. I'm not saying I conquered her. I'm just saying it feels like I'm conquering something because I finally had the destiny that I've been waiting for my whole life. And I didn't even know I was waiting for. It's pretty dang awesome if you ask me. But so she inspires me. She motivates me. I know I inspire her and motivate her. She backs me 100% out here. But I also know she wants me to be home with her. Same thing as me. I want to be home with her. But at the same time, I want to conquer this trail. And I will conquer this trail. Even if for some reason I would have to get off this trail this year, I'm still going to conquer it. Would have to come back some other time to do it, or later in the year. It just depends what, you know. And I say that because you just never know. I mean, ticks, Lyme disease, you know, injuries, whatever. You can only control what you could control. The rest is controlled by destiny. And that's what I'm referring to there. Still going to be conquered is my point. Like last year in the PCT, I had to stop because the trail was closed because of wildfires. Sometimes you just can't control what's going on. But anyway, I've rambled on a long time, but you're out here with me, and this is what I would be doing right now if you was by my side, is just rambling on about my life and what you need to know and what you want, not need to know, but what you might want to know as far as my health and everything. But getting back to 100%, still missing her like crazy every single day, the hardest thing I deal with. But right now, I'm going to get back to the beauty of this trail. Let's do that. A little over 2.5 miles to the store that I'm going to go to and do a little bit of resupply and do the half-gallon ice cream challenge in a little different spot than people normally do it. But you know what? I don't care. Like I said, I'm not a traditional person anyway. The fact that I'm even doing something that's a tradition out here baffles my mind, but it's ice cream and that sounds fun. So tradition or not, I want to do it, and I'm just going to do it even though it's not at the place most people do it. But anyway, a little over 2 miles away. But I just remembered as I was talking about, of course it was a long time ago for me, not for you on this video, but for me it was a long time ago that I was talking about you know, my health and everything over the last few days. And I wanted to give a shout out to everybody who helped out this weekend. It's kind of in a weird situation because it was like one of the only times that there was like no hostels around. The town that I was in had a motel and then a couple bed and breakfasts, all of which was quite expensive compared to what I would normally spend in a hostel, which would have been fine with me, since I had to take 3 zeros. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was nice to have the privacy and everything, you know, since I wasn't feeling good, but I mean, there was loud people outside the room and everything anyway, so it wasn't quite as private as I was hoping, and the shower was never hot. It was a lukewarm shower, but that's it. Everything else was good. It was clean. It was, you know, nice owners and everything else, but it kind of stunk, you know, on that aspect of not getting a hot shower, because that always helps the joints, you know, feel a little more relaxed and feel good and everything. But anyway, I digress. All the people that helped out, I definitely appreciate it, because it became an expensive weekend just to have to be laid up for 3 days. And a lot of people, I think it was a total of 14 over the weekend that donated to help out, you know, with some of the costs that I would accrue over the weekend, because obviously still got to eat, and my appetite because of through hiking is quite big. So that bill, no matter how much I try to save money, you know, ends up being quite a bit more than I would like it to be. But I did find a really nice diner there, which was awesome. Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, a place called Velvet Cafe. So if you're planning on through hiking, or you're going to be going through that area, I would definitely check it out if you like home cooked food. It's obviously not cooked at home, but it's that style. Really good food. In case you wonder what I'm doing here, yep, this is the trail. It all of a sudden became a river again. So trying to stay on the side of it as much as possible so I don't get soaked before I'm even halfway through today. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out, say thank you to everybody who helped it. It definitely came in quite handy in helping me stay above water, so to speak, with my head. So, all right, well, I'm going to manage through this water. Looks like it's going to be one of those days where it's wet on the trail a lot today, but anyway, thank you to everybody, and all right, onward and upward. Beautiful flat section of forest here. Or really big woods, however you want to look at it. I classify this one more as forest, even though there's openings up at the top to let the sun in. It's still deep and dark, and not real dark, but a little bit dark. But it's deep. Trees go on forever. I don't know. Like I said yesterday's video, I think woods are more just spaced out trees, and this is just constant tree after tree, and you know, not a lot of openings for miles. So I classify this more as forest, a different type of forest, not like the deep dark forest where you can't really see the light too much. Let's hear your comments. I'd like to hear that, or see that. What's your comment on what you think the difference is of woods and forest? I think it's more of an opinion thing than anything. So let's hear your opinions. At what point does a forest become the woods and the woods become a forest? Getting much closer to that store. I can almost taste the food and the ice cream. I'm here thinking about donuts. And then all of a sudden it hits me. Wonder how you even make donuts. For those who don't know about me, one of my top 5 passions, and I say top 5 because I probably have a lot, but there's 5 that really set themselves apart with me. And someday I'll talk about that if I haven't already talked about it in the video. But one of my passions is I love to cook. I'm pretty good at it. At least I think so. People that have tasted my food think so. Most importantly, my fiance thinks so. But I love to cook from all types of cultures and countries and national dishes of countries, and you know, from Brazilian food to Egyptian to Greece to Italian to Mexican, all types of food. I love to cook. American, of course. Good old Southern food, soul food, Cajun food. But anyway, I don't bake. It's like one thing I just never really have done. And I think donuts, for the most part, are deep fried, but I don't really know. I know you have cake donuts and regular donuts. Don't even ask me which kind of donut I like the best as far as cake or the other, because I don't even know. I don't know if I know the difference. I literally just eat it. If there's a hole in the middle, I eat it. Not really fond of the coconut ones. That's about the only one I don't like. I would say I have my favorites, but I love the gourmet ones with all kind of flavors in it. But anyway, I digress. I think that's something I'm going to learn to do, and then start creating my own flavors of donuts, because I love donuts, and why not? And they'll save a lot of money, and they're probably going to be 10 times healthier. So, gonna have to start making some donuts, I think. Anyway, just random thoughts of Fortune as he's hiking. in the trail, on the woods, in the forest. The water looks beautiful running. It also looks cold. And then I look at this bridge. Oh my goodness. Woohoo! This bridge has seen better days. Oh my goodness. I do not like that at all. Okay, we're good. I had to take my time there. There was at least 3 boards. 3 boards that were completely loose. Like, I do not want to fall through this bridge and end up in that cold water. Oh my goodness. That's I think the worst condition of a bridge I've seen out here so far. They might need to repair that puppy or somebody gonna fall through. So because I got biscuits and gravy and fried potatoes and then I did my resupply, I decided not to do a whole half a gallon of ice cream. Instead, this is more than a pint. It might be like a quarter of a gallon, I don't know. But it's chocolate and then peanut butter swirl as well. And I'm gonna down it right now in celebration of halfway through the Appalachian Trail. Woo! Biscuits and gravy, 2 cups of coffee. I don't even know, a little over a pint of yummy ice cream. And then I had more coffee because the ice cream made me cold. It's only like 45 degrees out here right now. Then I got a couple packages of donuts, some homemade cookies, some Cheez-Its, some other crackers. I think that's it. Oh, no, I had a chocolate Rice Krispies treat that I put in my bear can for later. Resupplied the sweet foods because I was out of the sweet foods, and one more thing of salty cracker stuff. Everything else I still have, but I needed some more snacks in there. And obviously I'm back on the trail now, so my celebration of the halfway point, even though I'm well past it now, was successful. Not the half a gallon, because I wanted the biscuits and gravy and fried potatoes. But nonetheless, I got my ice cream on a cold day. And that's probably about all I could handle, to be honest. It was so cold. You know, it was obviously making me more cold as I ate it. But anyway, back on the trail, seeing what can be seen out here in the Pennsylvania forest. Nice little workout here. First time I've had anything like this for a couple days. Little switchbacks and straight up on those Boulders, that's one way of getting you to the top quicker, for sure. I had somebody going southbound and said there's some boulder mazes up at the top. I'm not sure exactly what a boulder maze is, but maybe he meant the switchbacks. But I've been looking for a maze made of boulders. A little bit of a view in between the trees over there. Some higher up hills. I'm actually a little out of breath after that. My body's like, oh, we're going to just cruise today and have it easy, huh? Oh no, what are you doing to us, Fortune? All right, continuing on. I'll let you know if I find a boulder maze. These are some cool rocks. Wow. I like these a lot. These might be the coolest rocks I've seen so far in the Appalachian Trail. All right, let me back this angle up a little bit so you can see them better. All right, so looks like it comes up here. Oh, maybe this is the rock maze. I don't know it's a maze because it shows those and then it shows an arrow. Man, these are cool. Yeah, love these rocks. So cool. But that might be the end. Short-lived, maybe? I don't know. I see some more rocks up here. All right. Maybe we get to keep going for a minute. Oh. Let's try that again. Ooh, looky there. Gets to go right between those rocks. Well, this is fun. Yeah. Ugh. Alright, I wouldn't call it a maze, but it's fun. Alright, so now we go down here. Yep. Ooh. There's that thing I do again where I hold onto the camera and my trekking poles. Might not be the smartest thing, but whatever. Alright, so now we come through here. Look at that. Maine that way. Georgia this way. That's pretty cool. Oh, now we gotta go this way. I'm thinking they might be taking me the long way around all this, but that's okay. It's fun. I don't know if it can really be called a maze, though, if they give you the answer. I think a maze, you're supposed to figure out yourself how to get from point A to point B. Alright, not going in between them this time. Just continuing on right here. Looks like that's the end of the big ones. Now just some smaller rocks. That was fun. I'll show you if there's any more. They're back. Ooh, got a little bit of scrambling here. A little bit of scrambling, eh? Alrighty. See how I want to do this. Because I would like to keep the camera here so you can all see it. And I think I've succeeded with that. Ooh, put the poles down. Oh, here's a really close up of the rock. Oh my God. That wasn't fun. Whew. My leg near my hip cramped up as I started to stand up. And I got stuck there for a second because the weight of the backpack and the weight of the backpack was being pushed against a rock. So I couldn't get the cramp gone and I couldn't move. Either one. So fun times right there. Someday I'm going to get smart and I'm going to put down the trekking poles as I'm walking. But apparently that's not today. You're going to be entertained regardless if I'm climbing these rocks. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention if this went straight right here or if it turned. So let's go back and see. Maybe this is where it becomes the maze because they don't have it painted. See here, you got that arrow coming the direction I just came. But I don't see, let's see if there's anything over here. Nope, there's not. So I was going the right direction. Just used to seeing a little blaze up there, so I know. But I think this is it. Gonna find out. Ba-da-boom. Where, oh, where are the blazes? Where, oh, where could they be? I see it. Alright. The things I do for you all. Not that easy sometimes. Crawling on these rocks, holding the phone. I try to show you everything as I'm going, but I know it's not always working out. Woo, doggy. That was fun. This is a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, not a big fan of other kinds of rocks, but these are kind of fun. I wouldn't want to do these all day long, even though I'm going to up in New England, but probably even northern Pennsylvania. But it's fun once in a while. Changes it up from just walking to doing a little climbing. Yeah, looks like we get some more. Well, I get some more too, not just you. All right, so we're gonna go to the left. All right. As you can see, there's a few rocks in the trail right now. I've heard some comments, I've seen some comments in the Far Out app, which, as you know, is what I use to navigate out here on the trail and the side trails. I've seen some things where people are saying, so are you still a purist after all those rocks on the trail? So I don't even know if I'm at the rocks yet, because these aren't that bad, but if they're to a point where they're making people ask other people that are purists if they're still purists, I'm thinking they're going to get a little worse. Getting ready to summit a mountain here in about a mile. A small mountain, obviously, but a mountain nonetheless. And that's where I'm seeing this from here till then, about the rock comments. So we'll see if they get any worse or if they're just like this. I mean, these are the kind that are kind of a pain in the butt because they're small, they're sharp, they stick up. There's like, you can never just avoid all of them as you're walking. So, and then of course when they jab you in the toe or in the heel, it's kind of like stepping on a Lego. They're a little painful. There's a nice little campsite right there, but it's slanted. I don't want to sleep on a slanted hill or spot or pad, whatever you want to call it. Look how beautiful and green everything is. Sometimes just the way the trees are and the angles of everything, you can really see the bright green that's going on forever. It is beautiful. It is indeed. Standing on the summit of Center Point Knob. Not a whole lot of views, but you could see a little bit down into a valley through these trees back here. I don't know if you can see them or not, but there is a really cool memorial type of thing saying Center Point Knob right there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really cool. And Center Point Knob is in the bag. So here's the placard from the top of Center Point Knob that you just seen. The really cool thing about this is, and lucky for me, a local came by and got to hear me say it's in the bag. Nobody ever gets to hear that. I always make sure nobody's around, but somebody got to hear it. And he was a local. He came up and touched the placard and the summit and then went back to where he came from. So he was doing like me, just trying to get to the summit. Of course, I'm going to keep going on. But the cool thing about this is actually the original halfway point placard. The original. I think the AT started like 1930 something. I'm sure somebody's watching this that will know that information. I can look it up, but not right now. That's a long time, and that's the original placard, the original spot of the halfway point of the original Appalachian Trail. Pretty darn cool, and now it's the placard of Center Point Knob. The first summit that I've come to in Pennsylvania. So pretty cool. Let's keep going. And by the way, the rocks going up to Center Point Knob were almost non-existent at times. Not bad at all. A few sections were kind of like what I showed you. A couple sections of some rock steps, kind of like this. Not that big a deal. But mainly just the smaller ones that could hurt your feet like a Lego if you step on them wrong. Nothing too bad at all. So I was happy for that. And from the way I understand, the next couple miles, the next like 15 miles or so is quite cruisy. I know I'm coming into a pasture here soon, so should be nice and smooth for the rest of today's hike. And here is a pasture on the Appalachian Trail, Pennsylvania style. A little different than the way they look in Virginia, because that, my friends, is pretty flat. This looks like the state I grew up in right here. Good old Ohio. I mean, they are right next to each other. Pretty much the same terrain for the most part. I mean, the Appalachians obviously doesn't go through Ohio, but they're hilly in the south and flat in the north, but even their hilliness is only like 1,500 tops elevation, so very similar to that. Alrighty, continuing on through this pasture for about a mile, I think. Here's a couple little hills or little tiny mountains in the distance. And right over here was the center point knob that I just came from. Pretty, even though it's kind of flat, still pretty.